The invitation letter to me said this was supposed to be a 5-minute presentation or intervention by each ministry. So I'll try to stay within those 5 minutes, and it will be easier for me to do so if I adopt the protocols. I think that the Honorable Minister for Information has also, in his opening remarks, already given some examples of the experiences that we have had. So I'm just going to quickly try and speak to one or two matters and illustrate them with some of the slides that were being projected on the screen. Why is it important that we should have this conversation? I think that's the first thing to say. And the first point I want to make, therefore, is that our ability to grow, our ability to develop, our ability to prosper, our ability to get education, to get health care, to essentially live a good life is so tied to the quality and the quantity of infrastructure that we have. The truth is that no nation grows beyond the capacity of its infrastructure. So every little one that we have, we must optimize it. And I think that's the first point I'd like to make. So the Honorable Minister for Information has spoken about incidents of damages to bridge. And if the operator of the screen just goes to my 5th slide, slide 5, I think you will see there, just to highlight, yes. Now, these are some of the bridges that have already suffered one form of damage or the other. And what is being projected there, the first one is Otenola Bridge. There was damage to the bridge elements by fire caused by petrol-laden tankers. The next one is Kara Bridge. Damage to the bridge elements, again, petrol tankers. Then Tamburawa Bridge in Kano. The first two were in Lagos. Tamburawa Bridge in Kano, illegal mining activities. That exposed all of the piles sustaining the weight of the bridge. And in all of this, government has had to respond. So the first one, the cost of repairs was 203 million naira. In the second one, it was 605 million plus naira. The Tamburawa Bridge cost us 1.8 billion to repair a bridge we had already built. So because people want to mine sand, they expose all the members. Obalende Bridge in Lagos, it was a petrol tanker that crashed into the bridge. Apparently, its brakes failed, and the bridge pillars were the best way to stop the truck. And the place exploded. It was all over the news. Then recently, a truck was actually carrying an excavator on a low bed. Got to our bridge and saw that the level of cargo it was carrying was excess of the headroom. And instead of going back, he just drove through and damaged 3 existing bridges. And the list is long. But you see, what it does is that it just affects everybody in a very negative way. The other point to make is that all of this interference, damage to public property are actually criminal offenses. Our laws provide for them. And the fines range from penalties, the sanctions range from penalties of fines to terms of imprisonment on conviction for the offenses. Now, are we totally helpless? Certainly we are not. As I've shown on this slide, we are responding. But all of these monies that we are spending could have been put to other uses. They could have bought drugs, they could have paid, they could have done so many other things instead of going to repeat to do or to rebuild what we have already built. And that is one reason I think we must have this conversation. There are other instances, and I will just quickly go through. If you will go perhaps to slide 6, just quickly. So what is happening here is that the right of way of our federal highway is 45.75 meters from the center line on both sides. So if you're in the center of any federal highway, if you look to your left, 45.75 meters to the left is our land. And the same thing to the right. So if you are building in any place near there, you're actually trespassing on our land. So if you see these photographs, clearly those buildings shouldn't be there, neither should the petrol station. These are some of the problems we are also dealing with. And of course, if you move further to slide 7, this is, please go to it. This is somebody on his own, just getting on our highway when we caught them, actually building their own speed bump and painting it on a highway. Again, this is not only illegal and criminal on conviction, it is also a danger to other road users. Because this is not a municipal road where you can put speed bump. This is a federal highway. And to unsuspecting vehicles coming at the appropriate speed, if they run into this is an unexpected feature on our highway. So it's also a danger to life. And if we go quickly to slide 10, now, this could never have happened, especially the one on the right. A truck actually hanging on a bridge. And you see it has damaged the concrete work on the parapet there. And again, this is just illustrative of the need for all of us to demonstrate appropriate care when using all these assets. It is a shared asset. It belongs to everyone in this room. If I use it and I damage it, it is not there for the next person to use. So, again, it speaks to proper training of persons entrusted to operate vehicles. And if you go on to slide 11, now, you might have seen in the last few years that signages such as this, which are standard practice in many parts of the world, but they were absent before this administration, are beginning to emerge on our highways if you drive across. The purpose of these signages is to help commuters know how far they have traveled, how much longer they have to get to the next town, and so on and so forth. But when we started rolling them out, these were signages somewhere in Enugu State on the A3 route that they just cut them off. People just cut them off and took them away. But this is only one example. Some of the things we also see is that these signages become billboards for campaigns when elections come. That is not what they are for. And so, if we want to be, if there are countries in other parts of the world that we emulate, we want to be like them, we must also be ready to do what they do to make them worthy of emulation. They don't set up these kind of things and then turn them into campaign posters. So, let me go on then to slide 13. And I will very quickly, after that, just round up and yield the floor to my colleagues. Now, these are markets under the bridge and all of that. There was one I went to recently where on the columns supporting our bridge, somebody had actually set up shop. It was actually a politician who got the license to hire the bridge before this administration. Then he put people there. So when you get there, you will actually see signages printed in white paint, 3,000 per truck, 2,000 per car, and so on. So it's a parking space under the bridge. And every day, trucks go there, park, and the person collects 3,000, 2,000. When I asked them, I think they said in one place, 65 trucks come there a day. So the person is just living on the land, paying no tax, putting all our assets at risk. So what are we doing here? We have started a recovery of all of these sites, and slowly but surely, we want to evict all trucks, all vehicles from under the bridges. That is our decision. That is the right thing to do. All of this is unlawful. So we are going to need the support, the understanding, and the collaboration of all well-meaning and right-thinking Nigerians to recover all of these things from those who put them to unlawful and improper use. Go quickly to slide 14, and I will close on slide 15. Now, this is the bridge opposite the Guardian newspapers in Lagos that takes you to the airport if you are coming from Mile 2, if you are coming from Apapa, and so on. So a truck laden with petroleum products lost control, exploded, and this was the place he thought to come and park the vehicle. So that bridge had to be closed. Not only the damage to the bridge, which now has to be repaired, it was one of those bridges, and the cost of repairs was, I think, something in the order of 300 million or so. The work is just about to start, or started last week. But apart from that, everybody who used this bridge for business, to get to work, to go home, now has to divert because we have to close it because of safety. So if you are traveling and you are going to the airport from Apapa, from all of those areas, your journey is extended by at least 40 minutes because you actually have to go to Oshodi to go and turn. Now, that is the cost to everybody, to this economy, by somebody's action. And this kind of behavior certainly must be put in check. Now go to slide 15, and I will... Now look at the slide to the right of the screen. This is the exit from the Third Mainland Bridge. And I was actually the one driving at night who caught this person. They were drilling it. They wanted to build an exit onto the highway. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will not just run all of the slides. It's a lot. Housing, if you go on, housing, to the slides on housing, manhole covers, Alhaji Lai has told us about that. The next one will show you damage to buildings, and this is the damage to the bridge parapet. This is a property damage in Adamawa, and so on. The list is endless, and you will see what my colleague will also share with you. So this is an important conversation to have because our collective heritage and our commonwealth is at risk by those who either do not know or who also see these assets as the appropriate objects of their anger. And this kind of conversation, I hope, will help to reverse and reduce this trend. Thank you very much.